Are your notes as empty as mine?
They're not witty.
Let's
We'll do it live.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Metacast podcast. That's the podcast that improves itself, improves ourselves, and improves the self in general. My name is Ty. I'm going to be your host, and as always, I am joined by my magnetic co-host, Distance. Tonight, we are going to talk about the concept of attractive. Basically, what is it? What does that mean to us? What does it mean to the world? And how should that affect you, I guess? So my first question then, I guess, we already got pleasantries out of the way. We've been talking for the first few minutes. What does it mean to you? What do you say attractive is?
It's to me, attractive is like any of several qualities that somebody might find magnetic to some degree, regardless of gender or sexual orientation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, yeah, so just like you brought up there, I don't think that attractive has to necessarily be like in a romantic sense. I do think that that's probably how we use that term a vast majority of the time. But I think that a lot of things can be attractive, or you can be attracted to things, not necessarily in a romantic way.
Yeah, agreed. Most of the time, I think when I feel I use the word magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
When I feel a very magnetic kind of attraction, it typically is romantic.
Okay.
But I mean, there's plenty of people that I'm not sexually attracted to, or I don't want to date, that I'm excited about seeing or hanging out with.
Mm-hmm.
And being like a straight guy, like some of those people are male, and it's not like it's just like an excitement about being around that person or like hanging out, like because maybe, well, like for you and I, like I always know if I call you and you pick up the phone, which is basically always, but I know that when you pick up the phone, at some point after that, something interesting is going to happen or be said, or it'll make me think about something differently. And that like attracts me to you. Like I'm excited to talk to you every week on here because I know that there's some kind of thing that we're going to get to, or some thought that I'm going to hear that it is exciting or beneficial to me. Don't get me wrong, that stash looks great, buddy, but I mean, I don't like you like that.
Yeah.
But I'm attracted to you.
We are considering the no shave till vaccine concept. So we might end up with a huge mustache again. Remember what happened with no shave till WoW Classic?
That was bad. Like I feel like you probably ate several pieces of that mustache hair.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. There's a hair baby growing deep down.
Yeah.
But I do like the I like that is a concept. I hate that we don't use it that way very often. I hate that it's one of those words that's so loaded that it primarily means, I mean, like we said, 90% of the time we mean it to be sexually attracted. So like it's a word that you like, it's kind of been monopolized by that. You can't really say like, oh, I'm attracted to this person without the implication being like, oh, Tyler and Distance sitting in like
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like how I think that's how a lot of us grow up too. It's like do you like him? Do you like him? And like that's always how, and we seem to center everything around that sort of attraction. And I don't mean, I'll just be heteronormative. I don't mean to do it in like a malicious fashion, but when you're growing up, because that's what you're exposed to, that's mostly what you're gonna say. It's like a male female thing.
Well, and also I think that it's just like the predominant relationship in most people's lives is a romantic relationship. people end up like
Yeah.
getting married. That's the partnership that you really talk about when people have like, like we even use the term the one. Like we don't have to specify that means anything romantic. It's just when people say like the one, it's like, oh yeah, that's the one you're going to marry. Like, so I think we center a lot around like just kind of, one-on-one romantic relationships like that.
For the record, I fucking hate that term, but that's okay.
Did you hate the Matrix because of that?
Oh no, I mean that's in a different context. Basically, every fucking like silly action film is gonna have that kind of terminology in it. But when people talk about like who they're, but yeah, no one says, they say, so are you married? It's never like, who's your best friend? No one asks that question.
Yeah,
even though maybe they should.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it is like, I mean, almost everyone that's married, I shouldn't say has to say, but will say, my best friend is my wife or my best friend is my husband. And like, I don't know how often that is actually true. But I hear that
I would be pissed off if my girlfriend said I was her best friend. I'd be like, that's not good. Don't do that.
Yeah, in all reality, you like, I mean, like, of course, I'm like, single very often. So I'm not like speaking from a lot of experience with that, but it's like, I almost feel like you should get what you need from a friendship maybe elsewhere and have your relationship cover other bases. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of crossover. It's not like mutually exclusive, but it's like, I feel like it's very healthy to have like other friendships that give you something different or give you something else, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think that a friend group is a group of people that you offer benefit to, that also offer benefit to you in any of several ways. Like, I'm not gonna go to you if I have a question about like a chord on the guitar that I have difficulty, like if I'm trying to find an alternate fingering for it, I'm not going to go to you, because I mean, you haven't touched your guitar in years, right?
Yeah, I was about to say that there would have been a time that you would have,
but like not now, but I would have at one point. But I am going to go to you if I have a question about how to make a specific exercise at the gym work better for me. Like, you're the guy I'm going to ask about that.
That makes me feel a lot better. I thought it was gonna be like, I would go to you if I was gonna create a World of Warcraft character and needed help.
I mean, that too. I would actually. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, if we get far enough into this, like social distancing, quarantine, isolation shit, I might fucking start playing WoW. Honest to God, like. I might get a World of Warcraft account just because there's nothing fucking else to do.
It's a good time killer. Dude, I started actually playing a little bit on the like retail. Yeah, so that I play WoW Classic, which is like legacy servers. I started playing a little bit on the retail current servers, and I just rolled. I'm doing my multi-boxing thing. I rolled a team of 5 mages, and I'm leveling those. And I got invited to this guild that was called Quarantine University. And it was literally a guy that hadn't played the game in like 6 or 7 years and been so bored since he's stuck at home that he's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna start playing WoW again, and just started a guild and was like, all right, let's invite people that are just quarantined. Like,
and the funny thing is that on the subject of that, I think that the fact that many of us are so isolated from each other, a lot of us are realizing what we liked, what we still do, what we do like about the people in our lives.
Yeah.
Because now we're like deprived from their company. And I mean, you and I like have a decent amount. We text each other. We send each other funny shit. Like we talk on here, obviously, but there's something unique or special about going to like a bar together and getting a couple beers and sharing the experience of being together and being like, here, taste this, here, taste that. This kind of thing. And there's other people around, and like, like the place where we live, and it's very popular at many like breweries. There's dogs, people bring their dogs and stuff. And it's like cool to be in that social setting, but there's something special about actually spending time in the same place as someone. And I think a lot of us have come to realize what we've taken for granted about the people in our lives, being that we don't get to see them right now.
Yeah,
I mean, you could see them if you're a fucking idiot, but don't do that. Stay at home.
It is the old, like, you don't know what you got till it's gone Because it is like
Yeah.
you take those things for granted. I mean, even, for me, it's someone that doesn't go out very often, does not really enjoy, like, I shouldn't say that I don't enjoy bars. I guess enjoy them in smaller doses or more infrequently than many people. But it's like, yeah, that is something that I miss. Like, I would love to. I shouldn't say I would love to. I can't wait until we can go out and do it again. Yeah, it's one thing that it's like, yeah, definitely. I appreciate that more now that it's not an option.
Yeah, and I think the the funny thing, my notes for this, I'm looking at them now. It's 4 lines. And you know what they are?
What's that?
They're that new template that we started using.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's minor.
That's it. It's just the template. There's nothing in it.
Yeah, I have. Mine's pretty empty too, man.
It's like, to do, fill this out. Nope. Yeah, but I think that it's important to note that there's nothing wrong with, because you and I have talked about this several times, that like, especially like the time that we grew up, like everyone's favorite insult when we were kids was, "Oh, that's gay."
Yeah.
"Oh, bro, that's so gay." And some people say that still, but like, to me it was just like it bothers me very much, like when 2 straight guys and a group of women, oftentimes straight women, are together, and these 2 guys that have never met each other that are straight hit it off.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot of chemistry, and they have some things in common, and they're enjoying each other's company, and they kind of forget about everyone else for a little bit because they're really enjoying hanging out and talking to each other and finding the cool things they have in common. And then all of a sudden, every single heterosexual woman in that room hounds them. "Oh, it's a bromance." Exactly, Lee.
Yep.
"Oh, bromance. It's a bromance." I'm like, why does that need to happen? Like, why do you need to hound us for this? Like, we're just 2 people that are, attracted to each other.
Yeah.
But it's not sexual. It's not romantic. It's that we want to hang out. And we're going to exchange numbers. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens when you make a new friend.
Exactly. That's how you get to, and like, so what if you kiss your homies goodnight? That doesn't make it, like, it's not a relationship thing. All right, sorry.
Yeah, like, as long as there's no tongue, God, we're so good at the deadpan thing. We were kidding, everybody. We were kidding. Or were we?
Yeah, well, but oh my
But
God.
like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why that has to be, like, why we allow ourselves to be so uncomfortable, like why we allow people to force that on us,
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I like a lot, that some people maybe might be opposed to, I kind of like the way that culture is going now.
Yeah.
Where we're starting to become a little less rigid and like ridiculous about that.
I love that. Oh fuck! It's like one of my favorite lines from a Kanye song. It's an old Kanye song, but it's about I forget exactly the title of the song, but the line is like, "You can still love your man and be manly, dog." I love that. Like, I think it really solidifies, or like it really it enforces like an idea that I have. It's like, it's like not masculine or not manly to like love your friends. Like, there's like, it's not like, it doesn't make you weak or make you like vulnerable or anything. It's silly that we think that way.
Yeah, there's a dude that I used to do jujitsu with, and he has some land and he has horses, and he wakes up at like 6 a.m. to feed them and to take care of his land, and he hunts on his land, and he's like 6'2", wears Wrangler jeans and boots all the time. His nickname in jujitsu was Cowboy. So he's like a real like, like true blue, like America kind of guy. But he tells all of his male friends he loves them.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are uncomfortable with that. But he's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, I fucking do. I'm just going to say it. Like, if you're uncomfortable with it, that's fine, but I'm going to say it.
Exactly. And yeah. I would hate to like, for me, it's always like, I'd hate to, it's not like actually confessing my love for someone or anything, but it's just like telling someone how much they mean to me and what they are to me, and that I care. And it's like, I've just had too many friends that's like, the last time I talked to them, I didn't say any of that. And then you lose that opportunity. And it's like, yeah. So to me, it's like, so what if it makes someone uncomfortable? So what if it's like, awkward or whatever, or people judged it. It's like, no, I'd rather just do that and make sure that they know that like I fucking care about you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I was actually about to say, like, that exact. I was thinking the same way, that instead of waiting until after the eulogy,
Yeah,
and then you fucking tell someone else, and then that person never knows. Like, there's actually an individual that had a seizure and drowned in a bathtub at 22. And
Jeez.
the last conversation we had, she and I kind of like got into it, but I talked to another friend about it, and she said, you know, this is kind of a bit of a rabbit trail, but she said, hey, it's not like she knew that was your last conversation.
Exactly. Yeah.
So maybe like it's not such a, just think about the other things that happened that were good, and then that's what you can remember, because she never knew that that was the last time you would talk. You're the only one that gets to know that because you survived.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I really just don't. It is hilarious to me because, you know, what I think of as, forgive the term, but what I think of as manly is not being uncomfortable when your male friends express their enjoyment of your company. To me, like that's not very like tough or whatever. Like I feel like someone who's truly like resilient is going to be comfortable with that, like regardless of who they are.
Yeah.
And the reason why I use that term in particular is because I feel like generally like cisgender straight guys are the ones that have a problem with that. I feel like most of the time culturally, people that are biologically female are not really pushed into a place where they need to feel uncomfortable with that.
Yep.
And I don't know why we do that.
I don't either.
Because for me, it's like I get it. I understand the rugged, like American, like survival kind of thing. Like when it's time to fight, let's fight. Let's defend the people that we love. When it's time to do something difficult, let's do that and let's help each other. But like, I'm not gonna fucking act like I don't care about you.
Exactly, because even in your first example, it was to defend the people we love. That requires like having that emotion and loving them to begin with. It's like it's there. It's a base thing. Yeah, there was a movie I was watching the other day. I forget, it was on Netflix. London Has Fallen. It was just like a political sabotage type action movie about a guy that was in the Secret Service.
Isn't
like,
Gerard Butler in that?
Yes, yeah. It was a decent movie. Like it wasn't bad, but there's a scene where he like reconnects with his father that he hadn't seen in years and years. His father like just kind of walked out on him and his mom when he was young. And the scene, and like he's like on the run at this point. He can't really, like, it's not safe for him to be anywhere like in public, and like he has to like separate with his father at that point, then after just kind of reconvening shortly. And it's like there's this moment where, you know, he's walking away and his father's like yells his name, and he turns around. You could tell that like the line that he wants to say is like, I love you, or I'm like anything, and he's just, instead it's just like a and he just looks away. It's like but it's like that moment where that happens so often between adult men, even like a father-son relationship like that, where it's like for some reason we feel so awkward and uncomfortable saying those things. It's weird.
I have an uncle that he's the youngest male in my mom's family, and he used to always be like, shake my hand, boy, like shake my hand, son, like as if it was like you're not supposed to hug. Like, men don't do that. But he was like he wrestled, and he was a football player, you know, back when the football helmets were just a piece of leather. That actually I think made it more likely for you to get a concussion, not the other way around.
Maybe.
And then one day, I think I was maybe like in my mid-20s. I was like, fuck it. So like I walked up to him at the family reunion one year. He put his hand out to shake my hand, and I just fucking hugged him. And I was like, yeah.
That's good.
Oh.
That's good. I like that.
Don't you love me?
I don't understand it. I mean, of course, like I feel like I can see where it comes from. I think we even like touched on that. The fact that like if you try to start to show like any sort of emotion like towards another person, like, I mean, making a new friend, there's judgment in the room. We even talked about that exact situation earlier. So it's like I can see the seeds of that, but I don't understand why we don't like, chop those seeds down while they're seedlings and they've kind of grown into these trees that enforce this kind of like lack of emotion. And it's weird to me. It's like, I mean, emotion is a huge part of everyone's life, and like it seems like you kind of have to pretend like it's not for some reason,
which is like upsetting to me, because one of the first things I think in the practice of like Stoic philosophy is to recognize emotions first, to know that they're there and to recognize which emotion is happening, and then to try to point that in the best direction possible. Because sometimes emotions aren't valuable. Sometimes they're actually detrimental.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah.
Like there's the guy on Pride. I would call Pride an emotion.
For some reason when you said the guy on Pride, I thought of the cage fighting or the
Pride fighting championship.
Yeah, I was like which guy on Pride?
Yeah, no, the guy on I was gonna say something that I was like maybe I should start with this. So the Pride, I think I would say that's an emotion.
Yeah.
That the guy on the Active Self-Protection channel I've been watching a good bit lately.
Okay.
Jeff Correa was saying, as an active defender, you're not defending your ego. That especially if you're carrying a deadly weapon, someone gets in your face, your first instinct is to come at them. But the first thing you should do is, oh, sorry, dude, no problem, we're cool. I don't want any problems, no trouble. Like let's leave it be. So in some situations, some types of emotions are not good, and I would call pride an emotion.
Yeah.
But it's like, but recognize it's there, but don't like pretend it's not. Sometimes people don't show them. Like, for instance, another rabbit trail, I guess. If I'm on the phone with a customer service person from a company, that I'm having a problem, I'll tell them like, look, I am a little frustrated, but I'm not going to waste my energy or your energy in acting angry and yelling and things like that. I just want to express to you that I'm feeling that, but I don't want to, cause any negativity. So just to make you aware. And a lot of the time people are very receptive to that. And that's like part of the whole thing. Recognize it's there, acknowledge it's there, maybe even express it, but express it in like the best way possible. So yeah, but it's like, and I'm only saying all this because it's the statement of like pretending they're not there. It isn't necessarily what people are always doing. In some cases, they're pointing it like in the right direction. I think that everybody has become infatuated with a crazy person or someone that was, I use the term crazy loosely. Or someone that was unstable because there's something fun and adventurous about that.
And I think there's just a lot of them out there.
Yeah, that's one of those situations in which the emotion you're feeling, that attraction that you're feeling, might not be a good thing. It depends what kind of attraction it is,
Go ahead.
Now you go ahead, sir.
Okay, well, I want to like I was trying to like gently, but I don't know how to. Like, let's circle back to the real topic, attractive. I have this clip that I'm interested in showing you, to see what your reaction is. Unfortunately, we have to do the scuffed thing where you're going to be on a little bit of a delay because you have to watch it through my stream. I think I don't know any other way that I could actually like get it to you on time. But let's.
I'm wondering about this now.
Oh God, why?
I'm just like, what's gonna happen? Like, I don't know. I have no idea. What's this clip gonna be of?
Good. Okay.
I was instructed not to watch a thing, and now I want to know what the thing is.
So this is from a video I found on, I think it's called Pornhub.com. No, I'm kidding.
Wait, what?
No. This is from the Netflix show called 100 Humans. It's just a show where they take 100 people and like do different kind of like the psychological experiments, like like you do in college, where they basically lie to you at the beginning because they have to get you to actually like give a result that's not tainted, basically. And the season 1, episode 1 is what makes us attractive. There's actually quite a bit in this episode that I thought was really interesting and could pertain to a lot of what we're talking about. But this scene especially struck me, and I want to see what happens when you watch this. So let's just, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, make sure we have audio. Where's my volume at? Okay, it should be good. All right, let's start it here.
So we just saw that a humorous personality can make a person more attractive, but what physical features make one person more attractive than the other? Is it symmetry? Is it eye color? Is it their hair? Is it their skin tone?
Well, we all know the gold standard of attractiveness is tall, dark, and handsome. But of course, sometimes you only get 2 out of 3, so dark and handsome.
I think instead of relying on like old worn out cliches or, whatever your mom told you, I like to rely on science. And that some scientists have determined that physical attraction is just based on this one really, really simple qualifier.
Oh, dark?
No.
Handsome?
Nope.
Before I tell you, let's test it out on our home audience. Okay, dear viewer,
swear to God,
you
if
get
they
to
say
help
symmetry.
us find out what makes a person beautiful. Are you ready to be human number 101? I thought so. Here we go. Humans come in all shapes and sizes, but science says we're drawn to certain people for specific reasons. Take a close look at the following 6 faces. You'll be asked to select the most attractive. Watch again as we replay their faces a few times. Time to pick which face you think is most attractive. So, who do you choose?
All right.
I think I figured out the trick. That's okay.
First of all, what is your answer? Which face do you find the most attractive?
So I'm gonna go ahead and say that I need to get rid of my nose piercing. But yeah, so I know which one I'm supposed to say. I'm supposed to say number 3 because
Hold on, just
that
answer the question without which one do you find most attractive?
I'll just say 5. 5 would be
Interesting. Okay.
what I would say. Yeah.
So neither of us picked what we were supposed to pick, and you.
3 is what we're supposed to pick.
No, 3 is my answer. I am incredibly attracted to 3.
Right?
I think 3 is beautiful.
That's such a tie answer. I would actually expect you to say 3.
But like, listen to what they were actually doing
Is
here.
it 1 is who we're supposed to
See,
be?
look, hold on. All right. So Lee is the only one that picked the designated answer. Lee, you're normal. With the rest of us, Ash didn't be like. Let's play their what actually happened here.
According to research, most people will select face number 4 for one simple reason: familiarity. We humans are more attracted to faces our brains are familiar with, and we showed you this human's face for 11 seconds, compared to an average of 5 seconds for each of the other faces.
So, familiarity?
So really all it was they showed us that face more than all the other ones. And apparently most people will pick that. But there is something about that I guess she's actually human number 4 in the show. But she was number 3 in this lineup. But it's like, to me, immediately, the first time I saw her face, there was a very strong attraction. I think she is gorgeous. And I think Ashton agrees, and you thought that she was the one that we were supposed to pick. What led you to believe that?
Because her several of the other, because most of the time the cliche thing you hear from most researchers or things of that nature, like sort of like informational, that was air quotes, listeners that aren't on YouTube,
The experts.
yeah, the informational type videos where they're like trying to like show you like a thing where this is what people are most attracted to. The symmetry is usually the thing that they go for. I thought other individuals, like the one that was supposed to be the most attractive, had a nose piercing, so that makes their face asymmetrical. Everyone else had offset hair. The person with the locks, they had more hair on one side than the other.
Okay.
There's another person that had a mole on one side of their face.
Mm-hmm.
So that individual, it was almost like they were engineered to be the most symmetrical because their hair was up and out of their face.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they didn't have any distinguishing marks on one side of their face or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So I just assumed they were going to do the symmetry thing. So that's what I thought. But
Gotcha.
typically, like, Americans have like this, I don't know what it is about Americans, but generally, culturally, that Lufthansa flight attendant look. That,
What does
like,
that mean?
That like blonde Scandinavian thing. I don't
okay.
know what it is about Americans, but for some reason, most Americans seem to find that thing really attractive. I don't know what it is about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I
Or
thought it was very
Germanic,
interesting.
Is that the same thing?
I think, yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
I thought it was very interesting because more often than not, I fall into whatever trap they set up and things like that. You know, like, have you done the old like where I forget how it's done, but like at the end of a series of words, you're supposed to say like a color and a tool, and it's always like red hammer. And for some reason, like 90% of people say that. And yeah, it's like things like that. They're very good at just like engineering a psychological trap for you to fall into. But for me, that was like very, I don't know, it was just surprising. And of course, we were like talking about doing an episode about this at the same time. So I felt like it was kind of pertinent. But
yeah, but I mean, I think there's all kinds of things that attribute to being attracted to somebody. I mean, I think it's almost a waste of time to try to attribute any kind of research or science to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is like one of those things that, I think almost all human traits are this way, but when it's large numbers, there's going to be something predictable. Like if you run that test 1,000,000 times, there's going to be a large number that pick 4, like they said, but there's always going to be outliers. There's always going to be the people that don't do exactly what the herd would normally do. Like,
and we're the freaks in this case, I guess. But
yeah.
I think the familiarity thing maybe makes a bit of sense to me because the person I picked looks like they're a mutt, just like me. Like a super like ethnically ambiguous, like weirdly multiracial person. And perhaps it was narcissism that made me pick that individual. I don't know. Because, for me, like, it depends on what kind of facial hair I have as to, like, where people think I'm from. And I think that maybe I sort of, but I mean, I thought that I did the number 3, that person that you found attractive. I was like, oh, like when I saw that person, I was like, okay. But then they kind of went to the next person. I was like, look at that. But I think that I paid more attention to 3 and 5.
Okay.
Those 2 people.
5 was the one you picked, correct?
Yeah. So as those like numbers kind of went around, which by the way, if you're not listening to us on YouTube, you really need to, so you can see what we're talking about. Hit that like button, guys.
That would have been a 5-minute segment where your audio listeners are like, all right, what is going on here?
Yeah. So if you haven't seen this on YouTube, you should look us up. But yeah, like, I mean, and I thought that the individual that they said, what was it? Was it 3 we were no.
4 was the one we were supposed to pick. Yeah.
That's the one that we saw the most.
Yes.
I did notice that person.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because they showed us that person for more amount of time. But I also thought to myself, like, I don't know, like I don't know. There's something about it that just that person that like I didn't really. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because you'll hear individuals say that it's the average looking person because that's supposed to be some like evolutionary instinctive indication that they don't have any weird like abnormalities that might be, genetically bad or whatever.
Yeah.
There's the symmetry thing because that's supposed to be a symbol of the person being healthy. There's the physicality of certain types of physical traits that people see, like for like romantic or sexual attraction. There's all kinds of things that are attributed to it, and I think it really just depends on the situation and the person.
Yeah,
I would call it pretty fucking metaphysical in my opinion.
Yeah, which is fun. Like, I agree, but there is definitely a physical component to it. I mean, there is physical attraction, but yeah, it is mostly it's mostly abstract.
There is that averages thing, but I feel like we should do an experiment whenever we can fucking go to a public place and hang out again. We should go into a place, a bar or a restaurant or wherever.
Okay.
We should hang out there for a bit, you know, have a couple drinks, eat some food, and we should both look around. We should look around a lot, and we should determine which person we find most attractive by appearance, and also figure out which person our friend finds the most attractive, and see how many times we can be right.
Okay, that'd be fun. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Like, because when you said number 3, I was like, of course you fucking think it's that person. Like, I had a feeling. I was like, I know which one he said, I think.
But that is like, remember the episode, what other episode did we do that was like similar to this that sparked the idea for this? But we even talked about, like, I was trying to make the point that I can't put my finger on what it is that I'm attracted to about like a person's face, but it's like that number 3 has that face. Like, it's something with like the eyes and the jawline and just different like things, the way they align. It like it even nose size. Like,
I was gonna say jawline. I think that her jawline was very, very, very pronounced, and I think that in some cases that can be very appealing, like on a person's face. And you know, it's and I think that sometimes people will be attracted to the things that they believe they are inadequate in or on or about. That they sort of want someone who doesn't have the same inadequacies of them. Like for me, and things have changed over the years, for a long time, I despised the way that my nose looked. I did not like the look of my own nose. So I would always date people who I thought had much better noses. Like, that person has a good nose, we should date.
I think that there is almost like I don't want to know. I don't know if it's like an evolutionary benefit to that or like just reproductive, but that is like, I mean, you know how like, I mean, just biologically, when two people get together and make offspring, they are kind of a blend of the two people. So it's like, if you are balancing out the things that you're lacking with someone else, that is going to make the most balanced human out of the two of them. So like that, there is something actually really logical to that.
That actually makes a good amount of sense. So, okay. Here's the question. What do you think is the most attractive thing about you physically? Only physically.
Physically? Ooh, well, okay.
It's gonna be weird. It's always weird when you ask somebody this question. Their answer is always fucking strange.
Maybe,
mine is too.
I want to say like my height or my build, I guess.
So like your bone structure, is that what you mean by build specifically?
No, not even, because I think I'm kind of like lanky with bone structure. Let me just go with height. Let's say height.
What are you, 6'2"?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, here's the my weird answer. You can't see it very well because of the lighting, but on my forehead, I have these two lines. It's almost these like vertexes where my forehead is not round.
Yeah, I could see them. Yeah.
I think that's the most attractive thing about me.
Okay.
Like,
that is a very specific thing. I like that.
It's the only part of my head that's chiseled at all. It's like that weird spot, like right there. It's very strange, but I noticed it when do you remember when I had long hair when we were like sophomores in high school?
Yeah.
And like after I cut it, I was like, looked at my forehead and I was like, oh fuck. That's kind of cool.
When did I grow these?
Yeah. And I don't know what it was. It wasn't like that before I grew my hair out, but it's like, it's a weird thing, but like for some reason I'm just like, oh, that's kind of cool. I like that about myself. But one thing that I think is odd is that I don't think that people as individuals are good at gauging their own attractiveness.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because I'm not into very strong features necessarily. I didn't like my nose, and my nose is a strong fucking feature. Like, especially my profile. It's like, bang, there's a nose. Look at that schnoz. And I recognize after a while that it doesn't actually matter, because this is one of those situations in which, one of the very few situations in which someone else's opinion is actually more valid than mine.
Well, yeah, when it comes to your attractive level, yeah.
Because like I'm not gonna, what's his Buffalo Bill in a Silence of the Lambs, in that weird scene where he's like in the mirror and he's like, oh, I'd fuck me. That scene.
Yeah, of course.
Like, nobody says that. Like no like average normal like healthy person says that. That's just not a thing that like
Yeah.
healthy people say.
I was gonna say, don't say nobody. We already talked about the outliers. Like that is, there's definitely someone out there saying that right now.
Yeah, sorry, we don't mean to alienate you, but for real though, you are a statistical outlier. Sorry. But
no, that is a very good point though. It's like all the things that you find usually like unattractive about yourself or like it. I mean, in most situations, if you are not attracted to the type of person you are, which I guess, like, you know, I mean, a lot of us aren't. Like, a lot of, there's a reason why, like, people, you know, the opposites attract, basically, right? But it's like you're saying, it's like that, which you find is unattractive. It's just literally that you're not into that type of feature. Like, there is a non-zero number of people out there that are attracted to big noses, and it's I remember hearing I forget who it was. There was a woman they were interviewing, and it had she was talking about Bill Clinton. And she said something about like the interviewer was speaking to her and asked something about Bill Clinton's attractive level, and it came down to something about his nose. And the interviewer said something about like, well, oh, you think he's attractive despite his nose? And she was like, well, no, I don't think he's attractive despite his nose. I think he's attractive because of his nose. And she was actually like that was a strong facial feature that she found attractive, like where most people with a big nose think that is like, oh, I wish I could fix this. I want to go get rhinoplasty.
Yeah. And every time a celebrity gets a nose job, I'm like, why did you do that? Is it Ashley Simpson?
Ashley got the nose job, yeah.
Yeah, that bothered me a little bit. I wish Adele hadn't done that. I wish that Adele would have been more comfortable in what she looked like. Didn't Hilary Duff have something? I'm fairly certain that Gwen Stefani from No Doubt. There's a lot of times in which people like change their faces. I'm like, why would you do that? And because the acknowledgement that I have about any kind of dysmorphia or dissatisfaction about how I look is that I recognize that my perception of my own physical appearance is not necessarily completely valid all the time.
Yeah, true. Yes.
Like I at one point, no joke, I actually got an app on my phone. I'm pretty sure it still exists, where you can take a picture of yourself and you can use like this weird like photo editing interface to change the look of your own face.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think this app was specifically a nose.
Okay.
So I took the like sort of calcium deposit on the bridge of my nose that sticks out, like sort of shaved it off in the photo.
Okay.
And I showed it to several of my coworkers and they were like, no, why would you do that? That doesn't even look like you. I don't like that. You should not do that.
But I wonder though, you were showing it to coworkers, people that already knew and were familiar with the way you look now. And that would be just a stark, you know what I mean? That would just be a stark change. If you could show both side to side photos to a large number of people that have never met you and gotten to know your face, I wonder which they would pick.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, have you heard this idea? And I've heard this story actually from several other people, not just me. So my dad, he's had a mustache like basically his whole fucking life, my whole childhood. And one time he got rid of it. He shaved his mustache off, and I was scared of him. Like I was like maybe 3 or 4, and I was like, "Oh, who is this motherfucker? You get this guy out of here!" And like it freaked me out just because it wasn't normal. But I've heard a lot of other people talk about that, like they're particularly with facial hair.
Yep.
Like their dad comes back from a business trip and decided to get rid of his beard or get rid of his goatee, or he comes out of the bathroom without his mustache. It's like, what the fuck? So yeah, I think there's some validity to what you're saying, that it's just because they were people that were familiar with me, and maybe that's what. Hey, that goes back to that familiarity thing with the attractiveness.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with your nose. I'm just wondering, like, if that was a big variable in that equation, the fact that they were already expecting your face in a certain way because they got to know it that way. But
yeah, that's true. So like the sort of the shock of that's not what I'm used to. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Like that's actually something that makes a lot of sense. So maybe that was part of it. Perhaps I should do an experiment related to this.
Yeah, I do wish like there's a lot of things like that I would just wish I had the reach to do experiments like that. Like it's just hard to get like how could we get 1,000 people to answer this survey? Fuck, I don't know 1,000 people.
Yeah, that's a difficult that's a difficult thing to make reality. Can you
What's up?
hold on?
Okay.
Oh, sorry. For a second, I thought my audio was screwed up. Are you still there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you're
Okay,
fine.
cool.
I'm on it.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of like experiments that would be fun to do, like social experiments and things like that. That if we could get, I don't know, man. Maybe we should. We've had a lot of these sort of things that we've talked about. Maybe we should just do all of them. Make some PowerPoint presentations and shit. Use that statistics course I got a D in high school.
Yeah. And one we skipped to go play Halo with. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, Mr. Parker. It's not because we don't like you. You were a good teacher. We just didn't listen.
He was a cool dude. Yeah. But yeah,
BRB?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Vamp. Sorry.
Yeah. So so the idea to me, the idea of attractive and what it means. I mean, like we talked about earlier, it is very commonly used in a physical sense, but there's so much more to it than that. And it's strange that we kind of let like what I would consider a big part of the meaning of it fall to the wayside because of the how common it is that we use that term to mean one specific thing. But when we talk about someone being attractive, I mean, just like I think it was Ashton that said earlier in chat, their definition immediately went to it was like personality based. It was about humor and forgive me, I forget the other trait that you gave, but it's more often than not that's what I'm attracted to. I like Distance talked about, even with having a conversation with me, it's like it's knowing the interaction, what's going to come from it, that it's someone you're looking forward to seeing. They're going to give you some sort of benefit out of like the exchange. I mean, that sounds like using someone, but I don't mean it like that way. I just mean that it's like you're going to get something out of being around this person. And that to me is the real hallmark of what attraction is. That's what really matters. But for some reason, the term just becomes like physically attractive. I think I think a few of the people that I talked to about this episode leading up to it and what we were going to be talking about, their idea of attractive basically centered around like being aesthetically pleasing or being like beautiful or handsome or things like that. That it's I think that we do ourselves a disservice by limiting so many of the words that we use. And this is a word that I feel we do that a lot with. I was just going over how unfortunate it is that we limit attractive to be basically physically attractive 99% of the time we use it. And there's so much more to it that I think a good point. Have you ever heard the 2 rules of online dating meme?
No.
There's basically like, so when you're trying to date online, when you're like, you create a Tinder account, there's 2 rules you have to follow. Rule 1 is be attractive. Rule 2 is don't be unattractive. I love that those are 2 different things. And to me, like, it is just a little bit of a meme. Like, a lot of people use that as like an excuse for why they aren't successful dating online. It's like, oh, if anyone that looked like, insert attractive person here, Ted Bundy? Fuck, no, who's it did played that? Zac Efron. If anyone that looked like Zac Efron said the same thing that I said, they would have gotten a great response. But I break rules 1 and 2, so that's why. However, I think that mentality and that attitude makes you unattractive. And it's not a physical appearance thing. It is there's a lot more to attractiveness than just how you look. Yeah,
I mean, there are ways that you can completely fuck up physical attractiveness. That someone is very pleasing for someone to look at, but once you begin a conversation with that individual, not quite so much.
Yes.
But I think that it is it's strange because I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the people in my life that I'm attracted to that it's not physical. And there's a few. I could name a few of whatever gender really that that I find attractive where it's really not physical at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
So
quite a few for me, but it is. Hold on. Now, when you're saying attractive, do you mean romantically attractive but not physically attracted too, or are you just
I
using the
am
general term?
I would say anecdotally I would say I don't think it's possible to be romantically attracted to someone that you're not in some way physically attracted to. Just from my experience, at least for me, I'm not really someone that would be romantically attracted to someone that I'm not at least in some way physically attracted to. Like it's silly for someone to be like, oh, that person's drop dead everything in every possible way that I could desire physically. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
That's what we call porn. What just click, clicky, click, 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 swipe, click, click. But I think that there's something about that person that you'll find somewhat physically attractive in some way. But I'm talking about people that I find attractive in any way, like, friends, what have you. But if you don't mind kind of maybe coming off of that or like riffing off of that idea. So if the rules are be attractive
Mm-hmm.
and then also don't be unattractive,
Mm-hmm.
well, how the hell do you do that? Either of those.
Well, exactly, because you can't. I mean, so there's a lot of the physical features that you really can't control, barring like surgery or extreme measures. You're kind of you got to play with the hand you're dealt. So of course there is the physical side. You can always take better care of yourself as far as, I mean, first of all, drink more water. That'll help like your skin look better. Working out, of course, will just not only like help your energy levels and things like that, but also like physically, getting, normal hygiene as far as just like, keeping yourself clean and, the normal, toiletries that we that we do in day-to-day life. I think that's a big thing. What am I trying to say as far as like haircuts and shaving? I don't know exactly what that is, but like the normal maintenance like that, I think there's a lot of small things you can do that will help physically, but I think the biggest thing is the personality.
Yeah, I think that all of that stuff is part of it, and it's interesting because all of the things that you're talking about,
Grooming. Thank you. That's the word I was struggling to find.
All the things you're talking about, I think are good for a person just as being a person.
Yes,
These are things that will benefit you no matter what. And it's almost like being attractive is kind of a byproduct of all that.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, because for me, so okay, that was mostly physical stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I think you're pretty on point with a lot of that, and a lot of it isn't just like stuff that will make you more attractive. It's also stuff that will make you probably feel better as a person, like
yes,
your existence, the state of being will be more pleasing for you.
Well, that was what I was also wanted to get to with that, is because I think a lot of it is the personality. And I think that if you feel better as a person, that's going to exude itself. You're just going to end up, your personality will be just more attractive.
Well, so would you say, because I feel like, as friends, the thing that attracts me to you as a friend the most is that I think you're interesting.
Okay.
So how can we be more interesting?
Oh man, that's tough. Okay, so
Well, why the fuck are you so goddamn interesting?
I the so I mean, like, of course, like it came up, the whole point of that was the rules of quote unquote online dating. So we have to acknowledge that there is a big physical aspect to that. The way that most dating apps and sites and everything work now, it is just kind of, first glance picture based. If you think of like like Tinder, it's like you see someone's image and name and age, and then sometimes like either their school or occupation is there. Other than that, though, you don't, the profile is second. You have to actually like click to enter this person's profile to read anything about them. More often than not, you are going to be swiping right or left based simply on a first appearance. So a lot of times, I honestly think I agree with you. And I think that speaks to my lack of success in online dating, is that my biggest hook, you don't really get to in online dating until you've already swiped right on my appearance. And then you can like start to learn like, oh, well, hold on, what is he into? Like, that's weird, So as far as like how to be more interesting in an online dating sense, I wish I knew the answer to that, because I feel like that would help me a lot. As far as just in life, I think it's just exploring your interests. I mean, like, to me, like, one of the most attractive things about others is passion. When someone's really into something and they like quote unquote nerd out about something, that to me is like one of the most attractive things that someone can do. When people are just completely ambivalent and it's always like, what do you want to do? Oh, whatever you want to do. Or like, like their answers are always just kind of reflection, or like rather than someone really saying like, oh, I'm super into this and this is how you learn about it. And like that to me is super attractive. So I think that really, I mean, just kind of being open and honest with yourself and what you like to do and what you're interested in is, I mean, being interested in things will make you more interesting, I believe.
Yeah, it's interesting because like based on hearing your response to that kind of question, it makes me think that perhaps the best way for us to be attractive is to determine what we find attractive in others, and to sort of pursue that in ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, it is really cool when someone is like way into something, to sort of hear them sort of talk about it, and to sort of hear what goes into that particular thing and what's involved in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's cool though, because I think that's a really good way to put it. Just pursuing whatever it is that you're interested in.
How many dates have you had where literally the person only talked about what they didn't like? I've had like literally they'll talk about their job and they hate this coworker that sits next to them, and they hate that their boss said this, and they hate like, and it's literally just a laundry list of things they either don't like or they're annoyed by or they hate. And it's like never once going into like, what makes you? I understand the things you don't like, but like, what are you into? What makes you who you are?
Yeah. So my friends, my listeners, here's how you avoid being unattractive. Don't be negative.
Yes.
Or at least don't be excessively negative. Some negativity is normal because the world is the world.
Sure, exactly.
But not being excessively such is an important thing.
Yes.
But yeah, that's something that I think is really important too. You said, what makes you you? And I think that generally, I think that a lot of people have a lack of identity. Many people.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of us are still trying to figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah, and they put their identity in things that maybe aren't like the best or the most lasting. So I listened to an interesting podcast recently. I've been listening to Order of Man a lot.
Yeah.
And Ryan, actually, I should send this to you. It's kind of cool. It pertains to what's happening right now. He talked about a thing that he called how to adjust fire. He was in the National Guard.
Yeah.
And he did like artillery. So like the group that he was in with he didn't say a whole lot about the specifics, but they were the ones that told the people that were running the artillery battery sort of what to kind of like fire at. But sometimes they would get bad intelligence. Someone on the ground would tell them the wrong place, or they would have the artillery fire on a location, but the enemy had moved. So it's the idea of adjusting fire.
Okay.
And I think that in some ways, your identity will change over time based on different things. Because like as so many of us put our identities in things that we do, those things may change over time.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of using that principle of like adjusting. He was talking specifically about goals in life, which is very, very pertinent, I think. But in this case, I'm trying to sort of adapt it to the idea of identity.
Yep.
And I think that having a clear sense of who you are is attractive to me. Because I actually was in a long relationship with someone that once I got close enough to them, I recognized, oh, there's nothing there.
Yep.
Like there is no one. There is no principle. There's nothing other than just a bunch of illusion and chameleon and slithering into whatever situation you have to look like or be like whatever you need to be.
I do think it is like, it is very common that the physical part is kind of like the gatekeeper to getting to know the person. You know, I mean, more often than not, like, I mean, like I said, with online dating, it's the same way, but I think it's like even the same, like meeting someone in a bar, you know, there could be someone with a personality that you would really get along with. But if they walk up to you and in those first few seconds, there's not some sort of physical attraction, you're probably not that likely to really get to know that person. I mean, if you're at the bar, you know, to like with the purpose of meeting a mate or, you know, that's really like the gatekeeper of that relationship. And there was a really interesting movie I saw. Like, I mean, it was like a cheesy teen movie. It was actually like kind of bad, but the idea was interesting, where there was a girl that was really into this guy at the school. And I think it was like their high school or college or whatever. And basically she ended up like catfishing this guy through a mutual friend for weeks. And the guy was incredibly into the personality. Like she wasn't faking her personality at all, but she was not at all in appearance what she led this person to believe that they were. And it's like, that to me would be a very interesting experiment. Of course, it's like, don't do that to people, because that's like way, outside the guy, like that would be like very, very, but it would be interesting to find out, like, if you could not have that physical part and literally just get to know someone's personality and figure out how well you click with them. I wonder, like, would they become more attractive to you? Because I feel like that happens. I feel like as you get to know someone, they actually become more physically attractive. I think it all like ties together.
Yeah. A good example is the character Marla in the movie Fight Club, particularly the movie, not the book. Played by, was it Helena Bonham Carter?
Yeah.
They actually make a point to make that character more attractive throughout the film. I'm sure Chuck Palahniuk did the same thing in the book, or something similar. I didn't read the book because I'm a caveman. But if you watch Fight Club, you'll see that the character Marla is actually, there's things that are done in the development of that character that make that character more attractive as the film goes on.
Interesting.
Like if you watch it, like, dude, fuck it. We should like FaceTime and turn that shit on at the same time and just watch the movie together.
There's a
lot of people are doing that right now.
There's a plugin for Discord that does that. Like we can actually like be on a Discord call and we'll start at the same time. Dude, I'm very down for that. That would be cool.
Be fun.
Yeah,
we can even record it and like make a thing of it.
I'm down. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I haven't watched that movie in years, dude.
But see, here's the thing that I find upsetting is that there are certain traits that are demonized. Selfishness is one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Selfishness is not objectively bad. It's not, because I mean, what we're talking about, the way to be more attractive requires some degree of selfishness.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah,
and like that's okay. That's healthy. That's good.
That's something I've learned from you in the recent months, of like, selfish was a negative word for me for so long. And it's like, it doesn't have to be. There is healthy selfishness.
Yeah. In some situations, it can be not so good. In some situations, selfishness prevents you from fulfilling the roles that you may have in someone else's life.
Mm-hmm.
But Another thing that I don't know one word I can use to describe it, but this whole idea, like I'll call it this Beauty and the Beast idea.
Okay.
That somehow you should be revered if you fall in love with someone that you think is ugly.
Mm.
If you think they're ugly, then you're probably not going to fall in love with them.
Yeah, that is. I mean, like we said, there is like I do feel like I hate that word, but I do feel like it is the gatekeeper of relationships. Like there almost has to be a physical attraction.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's perfectly fine. I mean, it is upsetting, I think, to an individual who's maybe less physically attractive. But what the fuck does that even mean?
Exactly.
I mean, there's going to be someone out there who finds everyone attractive in some way physically.
Yep.
Because people have different ideas, different tastes. Yes, there are generals.
Yeah.
There's people that are inside the statistical norm, but there's also plenty of people that are outliers in that.
Yeah.
And for what is it, 7.4 billion people on Earth right now?
Did we really already? Holy shit! Are you kidding me?
I'm pretty sure it's like 7.3 something, 3835. I'm rounding up.
7.8. Jesus
H. Christos.
We are about to break 8 billion people. I remember when it was 6.
I remember back when it was 6 billion. Back when you were in diapers, young man.
God, I mean, dude, like seriously, it's so off topic, but holy fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know that it was like, Jesus, it was like 1 billion within our like parents' or grandparents' lifetime.
Yeah, it was like 1 billion in like 1880 something or some shit, I think.
Good God.
Don't
Okay.
quote me on that. I think I might be wrong. But it was in the last few hundred years. I'm pretty sure it was pretty close to just 1 billion. But so case in point, there's a shitload of people on Earth. One of them's probably going to be attracted to you.
At least one, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're American, there's about 330 million people in the United States.
But let's, for legal reasons, exclude everyone under 18. You don't want them to be attracted to you.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, yeah. People that are not like of legal age to do so. In the UK, I don't know how many people are there, but there's way more than should be on that fucking island.
True.
There's a lot of people that are there and might find you attractive too.
Yeah.
But because I think that the main thing for me is one of the things that's helped me in my life is to recognize that some people will find me attractive. Some people will not.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will find someone attractive who doesn't find me attractive. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because they're doing them. And if they're not into this thing here, then that's okay. That's no problem. That doesn't bruise me or change me as a person. I continue to try to be the best that I can, to try to feed my interests and my passions and my loves, and to learn as much about the things that interest me. And maybe at some point someone will find me attractive and then also find it interesting that I'm interested in stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think that same idea it really carries over to just people liking you in general. Like, it doesn't have to be like, I mean, just getting along with you. There are some people that are just not going to like you, maybe for no fucking reason. And it doesn't actually say anything about you. It shouldn't be. Yeah. It should be like a chink in your armor. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, hypothetically, say you meet my 5-year-old niece for the first time.
I would not be attracted to her. No.
Well, and she kicks you in the shin and she says, "Get a goddamn haircut."
Fuck.
Well, she wouldn't say that. And then she
That'd
runs
be a cool
off.
kid.
Like, are you gonna let that like bother you? Like, will that wound you as a person?
Dude, like me of X number of years ago, probably. But now I don't think so. No.
And that's exactly why it should never wound any of us when any person thinks anything negative. Because for me, it's like when someone says something negative to me about me, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, fuck you, don't say that about me." I will actually think really, really, really hard about it.
Well, exactly. I was going to say it shouldn't always just bounce off. Like, does that person's opinion matter to you at all?
And even then, like, someone whose opinion is actually insignificant to you might be valid.
True. Well, true. Yeah, it may be.
Yeah. But it's like, it's just the idea of not letting anything that anyone says immediately wound you.
Yes. Yeah.
And determining for yourself, like trying to like find some way to measure it, or to determine, is this negative trait true? And there's like a flow chart, if true, then pursue change. If untrue, after enough assessment, then disregard.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's just, I think that sometimes we get too wrapped up in whether or not other people find us attractive.
Yeah, dude. There was a moment that happened to me at a Casualties and Anti-Flag show. If that tells you how long ago this was.
Wow.
This would have been probably, I was still in high school.
Like 8 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, but dude, this, oh my God, no,
Oh
this,
my God, more
this
than
was
10
probably
years ago. We're so
16,
old.
17 years ago. Jesus, this was, it was in Carborough at Cat's Cradle. I rode out there with my friend Becky.
Wow. Yeah.
She was like, I couldn't even drive yet. She was like the cool older friend that I had that drove to shows. But anyways, like I like bumped into a dude at the crowd, and he literally like looked at me and goes, "Damn, you're ugly," and then walks off. That moment stuck with me for fucking years. And there's no reason why that should ever. Like that is literally one person's opinion that, in like you just said, 3 seconds of thought, like, do I care? No. Like, why does this, like, is this something that I need to adjust my behavior or anything based on? Or like, is this an opinion that matters? Or is there anything there? No. But for like, there is a lot of us that struggle with that, where it's like another person's opinion for some reason is automatically valid because it came from the outside.
Yeah. And that's no standard for validity.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was actually a moment where I had a group. It was a group of 4 friends that were very, very intoxicated. In a pool hall, like chastise me and call me names and say all kinds of things about me. And I spent the better half of the next day thinking to myself, what was?
I mean, these were close friends, or had like
these are just people. They were just random fucking people in a pool hall.
Oh, yeah, that's stupid. Yeah.
It was one of those weird moments where me being excessively outgoing, I was like, here, I will have a shot. Hello, person I don't know. Would you also like a shot? I don't know you, but I will buy you a shot. And they're like, yes, I will have a shot. I'm like, okay, phew. Little did I know that person did not need one of those. And then the other group of friends that they had that also did not need one was like, oh, come over here and hang out with my friends. And then it was like just not so nice people. And I recognize I spent the better half of the next day trying to determine like the mean things that these people said to me. Were any of them true, or were they just like angry drunk people? So I came to the conclusion that they were angry drunk people because I recognized that a lot of the things that they had to say were not necessarily quite so good. And that's one thing that I kind of live by is that not all, but most judgments are a projection.
Yeah, I think that is very common.
It's either what we wish dearly we were, and so we hate that in someone else, or what we secretly despise in ourselves. So we decide to hate that in someone else also. So like when you think of judgments in that way, then it makes it more clear as to how to assess them yourself.
Yeah, I think that's that is. I mean, that is a very good way of putting that. And that is, I mean, a big thing I think really the takeaway from this is when someone's opinion is on the border of like making you lose faith in yourself in some way, or like think about yourself negatively in some way or anything, like step back from that emotional response, step back from that moment, and just think like, does this actually make sense? Like, is there a reason why I need to take this opinion into consideration? Am I acting in a way or doing something that is out of line? Then okay, address it. But if not, like, no, then it should not matter at all. And I mean, of course, I'm sure that's easier said than done. You know, it took me years to try to, you know, like start making any steps towards that. And it's still like a journey that I'm still on. But I definitely, I know that I've made huge strides in that department, though. There's been many situations in the past, year, however long, where it is like just incredibly easy for me to just let negative comments that once would have really bothered me just kind of roll off, like water on a duck's back, I guess is the phrase. But
yeah, it's body armor for unnecessary negativity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stupid example because it's video game shit, but it's like the whole doing multi-boxing. people hate that in WoW. Like, I get a lot of hate just because I play 5 characters at once. It is very common for me to just get abusive whispers, negative messages all the time, and it's like there's a point where I would have just like there's a point where that would have bothered me, and I would have engaged with them and been like, I'm sorry, things like that, rather than just like I don't fucking care.
I mean, I don't understand it exactly, but it seems kind of fucked up to me. But I don't know enough about it to make an assessment.
It is, I mean, it is definitely fucked up in a player versus player setting. That is like, that's where people hate it the most. And then, of course, there is the like argument that a game like that actually has an internal economy. If I am able to make basically 5 times the amount of an in-game currency that the normal person could, that is a little unbalanced. And sometimes you are putting more things into the economy than would normally be put in. So there can be like repercussions for that. But in the way that I do it, at least so far, that is not what I'm doing at all.
So I think this is a situation where, and I didn't do this for the sake of the show, but like really and truly, this is a situation where you should take my opinion and then assess it. Like, is this person a credible source? Is this someone that I should listen to about this specific thing? Because maybe there's certain things that like I might know about that I can comment on that are valid, but maybe this isn't one of them.
Well, yeah,
I don't know.
Your experience in World of Warcraft is limited.
Yeah, that's true. It's actually non-existent. I've never participated in it ever at all.
Have you ever played any sort of? Didn't you play the Star Wars have you played any sort of MMORPG?
I played it for like a few days.
At
a friend's house.
Called?
I can't remember what the Star Wars one was called.
The Old Republic, right?
No, that was totally different.
Oh, okay.
I cannot, for the life of me, I could not remember it right now.
Gotcha.
I played it for a bit, but in this case, like, I really don't think that, like, me saying I think that's a little effed up doesn't really matter, because it's like, I don't know that my opinion's valid in this case. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't doing that, like, just for the example of it. The words just came out.
Yeah.
And then after I said it, I was like, well, maybe that's not something you should even listen to. Maybe it doesn't even matter if I said that.
Well, there is, see, in that situation though, it's like, I know that immediately, that it's like, okay, literal zero experience with World of Warcraft. However, you're just the type of person that I almost always respect your opinion on anything enough to at least engage with it and talk with you. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be there's never going to be a situation where it's like you'll say something like that and I'm just going to be like, oh, whatever. It's like, at least, like, it's a talking point.
Yeah, at least give me the time to give me the benefit of the doubt to talk to me long enough to figure out if I'm full of shit on this specific subject.
Or like I started to do there, but then realized like this is not really the time or place. I know, like I'm saying, I know that you're the type of person that I do respect your opinion. So it's like I would be more inclined to educate you on the subject to at least the base level to then make your judgment valid, if that makes sense.
And I would be receptive to that lesson.
Yeah. Which involves playing, at least like 3 or 4 days of WoW. So let's go ahead and get you signed.
We will have this conversation offline, sir.
But yeah, so I mean, back to the point at hand though. So you asked me the question. I want to know, what are your tips to make yourself more attractive in any way? What are your go-tos?
So for me, the thing, this seems silly. It seems like some Deepak Chopra kind of bullshit. By the way, I despise that motherfucker. But like, if you wish to be attractive, stop trying to be attractive.
Yeah, there is some of that.
Yeah, that's not like an absolute that I'm saying, but it's a lot of it is very similar to your thoughts on it, that look at and pursue the things that are interesting to you, mm-hmm. and build on that understanding and that knowledge. And I think that one of the things that people will enjoy about others is other people's love for certain things, activities, what have you. For me, the day that I started to become what I think was more attractive was when I decided, what is it that I find attractive in people?
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, then why would someone not find that attractive in me? Chances are I'm similar enough to other people to the point where whatever I think is attractive, they probably do too.
No matter how
like,
unique we feel, we're all so fucking similar. Yeah.
yeah, like almost pathetically the same.
Yeah.
And so I decided, like, I'll learn about the things I want to learn about. I'll do the things that I want to do. I will stop being so. The best way to be attractive is to not be so fucking caught up in when you interact with someone, if they're attracted to you or not.
Yeah.
That what will happen as a natural part is that, and I believe Lee said this earlier in chat, that as a natural part of becoming more attractive as a person, becoming more confident, that what you'll do when you do the things, you read the books, you explore the hobbies, you get the haircut, you drink the water, you do the exercise, you learn the lessons, you take the class, you go to the clinic. As those things happen, you will naturally build a confidence. And to me, it's like, do you know what a Corvette Stingray looks like?
Of course. Yeah. I'm going to pull an image up for our audience, but yeah.
1969.
I was going to pull up a
Stingray.
69 Corvette Stingray. Yep.
Preferably in red.
See, I was going to go with blue, but okay, well, we'll get
good.
red.
Blue's good. I think they had a metallic blue.
Yeah, the metallic blue. Okay, so that one's a little modified. Let's just go with the old classic here. Ooh. Top on or top off? Do you want a topless pick?
Oh, no, top on.
Top on?
Preferably a coupe. Oh my god, I hate convertibles.
Okay, here's a good one. Can I open this image in new tab? There we go. Okay, yeah. Let's here's one.
Okay. So, that is a really good looking car. Damn, red's my favorite color, but that's good in blue. So, I don't know. That looks like just a shot in a parking lot. So it's a good looking car.
It's literally like a Toyota Camry right behind it.
I think that it's a good looking car.
Yeah.
And anybody that looks at it will say, "Oh, cool car." But here's the thing. Whoever you are, if you're watching, you're listening, whatever, you are a Corvette. You're a blue Corvette sitting in a parking lot at work with a Camry behind you, and what is that, a Honda Ridgeline to your left?
I think so, yeah. Nailed it.
All you need to do is drive home, park in the garage. You need a layer of wax. And when you put that wax on, people will see you for all the beauty that you have. They'll see all the curves and the edges and all the fine little points that they wouldn't have seen otherwise. So whatever it is you love, you enjoy, pursue that. Take care of yourself. And then you will be the most attractive version of you that you can possibly be.
I think
you can be that shiny Corvette on the showroom floor.
I think there's another metaphor here that I also really like. So this is an attractive car. I think everyone agrees with that. But maybe not everyone. Again, to each their own. There will be outliers. But I think the important thing is, not important thing. I mean, I like what you said as well. However, I think there's a really cool metaphor that what makes it a Corvette is not just the body, it's what's under the hood. That, like, there are kit cars that it's just the body on, a shitty frame and a shitty engine, and that's nowhere near as attractive.
That's true. Yeah. People will look at the paint job and then they'll get in and they'll realize you can't stop for shit. You're not fast at all and you handle like crap.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. And also make sure you upgrade the internals.
Yeah. See, I think that is a very important thing. Always focus on the internals.
We've covered all the bases.
Oh man, I like this one
so
too.
you need to wax yourself up, and you need to make yourself shiny and pretty. And then you also need to build up your suspension, your brakes, your engine. You need to modernize yourself. Is that a Lamborghini Diablo SV?
Diablo VT.
Okay. That's one of my favorite cars ever.
Same here.
I love that car. Actually, Lee mentioned the Mira, which is a gorgeous vehicle. Look those up on Auto Trader when you get a chance. They're wicked expensive.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
But yeah, the Diablo is like, that was on everyone's like wall. That was the poster car.
Yep.
So then like, but what you don't want is for someone to see how shiny you are and get in and realize you don't drive for shit.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
It's
that's
like
a good metaphor.
attract someone to the outside and then give them something appealing on the inside. But the thing is that all these things will make you feel good as a person.
Yes.
And you will be happier with who you are. It's not just for someone else. And we'll actually visit that concept on our next podcast next week.
Oh, I don't even know what the topic is yet. Nice. I like it. All right, I'm excited. We
talked about this.
Did we? Oh fuck. Oh yeah, we did. Yes, thank you. Yeah, we did. We did.
Where were you? It's
in the dude. All right, work has been insane this past week, and plus, like, did I tell you about this weekend? What happened? Like, I gave myself fucking food poisoning. I was sick all weekend.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I just thought you ate like too many beans or some shit.
No. Well, okay. So of course I didn't like go to the doctor because I'm not like leaving my house. And of course, like if I was going to leave my house, a medical establishment is not at all the place that I would really want to be right now. So like I tried to limit, like, I did not want to go to the hospital, but yeah, so I talked to you Friday. I ended my stream like super early Friday because it hit me like halfway through my stream how bad I was feeling. And then I talked to you a little bit afterwards and then was pretty much just gone for like 2.5 days. But yeah, I was not doing well at all. And all of my symptoms align with traditional salmonella. So that's what I'm assuming it was. I think I undercooked my burger and gave myself a spot of the food poisoning. But I mean, at least that's the thing that would make the most sense because those are all the symptoms and I got over it in about the same amount of time as you're supposed to. And yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it did suck.
Okay, fine. You get it past. It's okay. We can revisit after this. We'll know by next week what we're gonna do.
Well, no, I've got it and I remember now, and I've got it like saved and everything. I kind of spaced on it, but
it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
So do you have a closing thought for us? Do you have a quote for this week?
Yeah, this one actually comes from it's two people. I'm assuming they jointly created this. They go by the names Red Foo and Sky Blue. You may know them by the musical group they were in, LMFAO. And the quote for this week is, "I'm sexy and I know it."
We have reached the end of another episode. God damn it. We have reached the end of another episode of the Metacast podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube and you've enjoyed the conversation, hit that like button, subscribe to keep up to date with what we're doing, and comment below and tell me what attractive means to you. If you're interested in further taking part in the conversation or even being a guest on a future episode, you can join our Discord. The link is in the description down below. And don't forget, we will be live with another episode next week, Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/TylerTV. Thank you all for listening and have a great week.
And if you're looking for a job, I think I just got fired.
No, dude. I loved it. I just could not laugh.